Shalom, friends. I want to share a little bit about what's happening right now in Israel and all across the Middle East. I'm sure you've seen the headlines. We've been holding our breaths for the last 2 months, unsure if this day would come. And now we've seen this joint attack between Israel and the U.S. on the Iranian regime, seeing several of the top military and political leaders eliminated, including Ali Khamenei. And this is a really significant moment. Many of you are asking us what this means for the region, what this means for Israel. I want to take some time to share clearly how we see what God's doing right now. First, I want to give a little bit of historical context. The removal of Iran's top leadership represents a major disruption to a regime that since 1979 has fueled violence all across the Middle East. Based on the Islamic Revolution in 1979, this Islamic Republic, this Islamic regime took control, and Khamenei is the one leader who's governed most of that time, almost 4 decades, since 1989. He turned Iran into the largest state sponsor of terrorism. He funded multiple terrorist proxies, including Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, that have caused pain and trauma all across this region, but especially to Israel. They are the root behind October 7th, the funding and the major force behind it. And they were publicly committed, not just to Israel, but to America's destruction. So this is a significant moment as Khamenei was assassinated yesterday using intelligence from the CIA and from Israel in a masterful operation, and totally changes the outlook for the region. And I think what we have to remember in these moments is we're not here to celebrate death or celebrate war, but we know that God is the one who hears the cries of his people, and he hears the cries of the innocent and the oppressed, and he confronts evil. And we're celebrating that God will not let terror and violence reign. Now, what's amazing about this whole narrative is just in a couple days, we're about to celebrate the festival of Purim. Purim is the celebration of Esther and Mordecai, who saved the Jewish people while they were in Persia. Persia today is modern-day Iran, and the parallels are so profound that Esther fasted and prayed. Mordecai, the people of Israel, fasted and prayed for deliverance from the wicked and evil Haman. And Haman had a respect and a love and a vile hatred towards the Jewish people. And of course, Esther was able to rise up in boldness and confront Haman, and eventually Haman was eliminated. And of course, that's exactly what we see happening now. Currently across the body in Israel, many of us are joined in a 40-day fast. We're about halfway through that fast. And as we've been fasting and praying, with Iran being one of the main points, God's heard our cries. I believe he's heard the cries of his people in Iran, and he's now executed justice. The wicked Haman figure of today, Khamenei, who was the ultimate enemy of the Jewish people, has now been eliminated. And this is something that is going to cause freedom not just for the Jewish people, but for the Iranian people. So this is profound. This is happening on and around the festival of Purim. We can't be distracted by that. It's the same historical pattern. It's the same spirit, the spirit of opposition to the Jewish people that dwelled in Persia long ago. And then we see God's intervention. We're seeing that again today. And we know that just as in Esther's day, God still hears the prayers of his people, and he still acts to preserve them. Now, what does that mean for what's next? When you remove a leader, it doesn't remove a system. This is a really, really critical moment for Israel's security and for the future of the Iranian people. It's so important that we say this, that it may seem like the hardest part is behind us, but it's actually ahead. The regime may and probably will attempt to replace leaders in key positions, also to replace Khamenei. There will be possible escalation and retaliations. We're already seeing Iran attack multiple countries across the Middle East: Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan. Also firing missiles at Cyprus, military bases all across the region. And there's going to be a power struggle. But we also see this from the story of Esther. After Haman's death, the Jewish people weren't saved completely. They still had to rise and defend themselves. They still had to take a stand and fight for their freedom. The leadership removal creates an opportunity, but it also requires real change, requires courage from the people. And that's what we need to pray for right now, that God would give courage for the Iranian people also to use this as an opportunity to take this into their hands, to rise up, to speak out for truth and justice and righteousness, and to see this regime changed. Many already oppose the regime. There's young people all across the population that are longing for freedom. And there's really the potential for the first time in a long time for a transformed Middle East. This moment could open the door for freedom, not just for Israel's security, but for the Iranian people themselves. So I want to invite you to pray with us, to stand with us. Israel is currently under a massive barrage of missiles. Over 170 ballistic missiles have already been fired. Some have had direct hits. Thank God most lives have been preserved. But we are praying that God would intervene in the situation. We know that He's the one who appoints and tears down kingdoms and rulers and kings. And this is what we need exactly in this moment. So a couple things I want you to know. This really is a historic turning point for the Middle East, and I'll say the entire world. There's a potential regional shift at play. God is confronting evil. He is executing His justice and His righteousness. This is bigger than just Israel. Countries from all across the Middle East are involved, and some of the Western world and other countries in Europe are already starting to get involved. This is regional and has really global implications. This is also not the end. The situation remains volatile. We don't know what the future holds or how long this will last. And we're praying for two freedoms. We're praying for safety and peace for Israel. We're praying for the peace of Jerusalem. And we're also praying for freedom and a future for the Iranian people. Would you join us in that prayer as we approach Purim this week, that God would again avenge His people, that God would again rise up and remove those who have a vile hatred for His people and bring His people freedom.